So as usual, we're going to show signs, okay, of God's immense power. And so this is embedded in the Quran. And so this is how Quran is generated actually. 114th index additive prime means that you add the index to the prime itself and you get another prime. This one, the 114th one, is 619th prime. I mean, you have this prime number 619. And its index plus the prime itself, which is 808 plus 6211, is equal to 7019. 7019. And then from this one,
SubhanAllah, please share your screen.
I already did that. Okay, very good. I just did it again. Okay. All right, very good. Okay, so 114th prime number is 619, and the index additive prime is 808 plus 6211 is 7019, and chapter 62 has 11 verses. Today is Friday, so chapter 62 is called Friday. 808 verse in the Quran is verse 6, chapter 6, verse 19. Okay. As seen above, 114th prime is 619. 7019 is the 903rd prime, and 903 is the 748th composite, and 748th lonely prime is 9127. So all of this, again, go back to the idea that chapter 9 has 127 verses. Now, there is something that bothers a lot of people, so I'm going to just share it with you. There is a, if you go to the Tucson website, you find out that chapter 927, the numerical value of that whole verse is 7019. Okay? I haven't said that because I have not verified it. Okay? So I like to verify that for myself before I say it. But the way that they have done it is 7019. Most likely is correct. But I just don't want to say it because I have not verified it. Okay? So do not ask any information. Do not accept any information unless you verify it. Okay? Because I have no knowledge of this. I have to verify it myself, then I can share it with you. Okay? All right. So again, Surah 9 has 127 verses. 903 in base 19 is actually 3252 in base 10. And then I've written here, I've talked about this in the conferences, the ninth 20 TPC, which are 3252 and 3258, are the 85 and 86 TPC individually. Okay? So if we add up the indices of these TPCs, the sum of the indices, the sum of the digits of the indices, you have 8 plus 5 plus 8 plus 6 is equal to 27. And we add the digits of the TPC, 20 TPCs themselves. We have 3 plus 2 plus 5 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 5 plus 8 is equal to 30. Remember now, the missing Bismillah in chapter 9 is compensated in chapter 27, verse 30. And then you see the 27 and 30 coming from this line automatically. Okay? So it didn't have any other option. You see, the mathematics drives the idea that chapter 9 is supposed, that Bismillah, missing Bismillah, is supposed to be compensated in chapter 27, verse 30. Okay? The index of composite 3252 is 2793, and chapter 27 has 93 verses. So we go on. 3252 plus 3258 is equal to 6510. And 6510 happens to be the 609th quint prime. And 609 is the number of tossing, the frequency of tossing in chapter 27. Okay? Chapter 27 is initial with tossing. And if you put ta and sin, okay, together is tossing. So that would be 609 because ta is 9 and 60 is sin. So you concatenate those two, you get 609. So 609 actually spells out ta sin in the numerical structure of Arabic language. Okay? So it tells you that what the initials are supposed to be, they're supposed to be ta sin, they cannot be anything else. Okay? And then we also find out further that 27 is the 9th initial surah revealed. Okay? So these are the relations that you have. And these are forced by this mathematics because the mathematics generates it actually. So Quran, although you don't have it, is surrounding you basically. Everywhere you go is surrounding you because the numbers are surrounding you. You're surrounded by these numbers all the time. Okay? In counting in everything that you have, in number of things that chemical process that goes on inside your body, all kinds of stuff that goes on in the universe, it depends on these numbers. And so we are surrounded by these numbers. Okay? So what my point is that going back to what I read in chapter 2, okay, we have to learn to be at peace with the way that God is running the show. Okay? Because a lot of questions we ask are meaningless questions, and not only that, they are unironic questions. Because God tells us that it's none of your business what they did or how they did it. Okay? You suppose you went back in time, not very long ago, to the 70s, 40 years ago. Okay? Suppose you went back, and you tell somebody that you're going to Xerox a piece of document. Do they know what you're talking about? You don't. Okay? They don't know what you're talking about. Suppose you went there and you said that, Google this item for me. Do they know what you're saying? No. Everybody today knows. But they lived without knowing that what Google was, Googling something was Xeroxing something was. They used to call it photocopy. Do you use photocopy anymore? Okay? As a matter of fact, at the end of the letters have XC, which means Xerox copy. So those people couldn't live, or they had some kind of deficiency or something, or we should go and emulate them. We can't. We live in this era, so we have to adjust to this. So there are a lot of these things that goes on and adds to the dictionary every day that those people did not use before. It was just like that. We have to broaden our horizon a little bit. Have a wider view of the universe. Rather than just, put blinders on and think that everything is static. Everything is not static. It's very fluid. Things change. Okay, people use words that were completely meaningless back then. Had no meaning. They thought you were making up words if you said that. Okay? These things are being added to the dictionary. And that dictionary did not exist back in the 1970s. So they wouldn't know what you were saying. Okay? The same thing happens to medical knowledge, to physics, to mathematics, to everything. It happens that there are new words and new things, the methodologies that we use, that did not exist back then. Okay? So we have to use our own experience also and put on top of this the Quranic sensible things that God is telling us. Okay? And then we'll be better servants of God afterwards. We'll be at peace with the way that he's running the show. We don't have any objection to his system. Okay? So I'm going to stop here and we'll finish our Allahu Kabir.